New tonight, 6 on Your Side is asking questions about why we didn't hear about an escapee months ago. The young man is still on the loose. Brian Mastery has been investigating and joins us live from the courthouse. Brian?
Lauren, in 2017, the guy we're about to show you was sentenced here at the courthouse to 3 years in prison. He was set to be on parole this fall, but apparently he couldn't wait.
For the last 3 months, Xavion Elmore of Omaha has been on the lam. The 22-year-old, in custody for being a felon with a gun, walked away from Omaha Community Corrections in December, the lowest custody facility in the state. Officially, it's listed as an escape, but Nebraska Corrections never told the public about it, only law enforcement. That was the policy. We asked Creighton University criminal justice professor Eric Meyer about it.
Professionally and personally, I do promote transparency. But at the same time, I cannot say that we should apply the same thing for everybody, that there should be an inductive approach, that it should be managed by a case-by-case basis.
If you're not familiar out here by the airport, right here is a medium security facility. It's the Omaha Correctional Center. There's jail cells, barbed wire, that sort of thing. Across the street is Omaha Community Corrections. It's least restrictive. You can kind of come as you go with permission. It's to help ease you back into society.
Nebraska policy may be changing when it comes to low-level escapees. The agency is reevaluating public notification after Anthony Gafford walked away from Lincoln Community Corrections in January. He was serving out his second-degree murder sentence. Nebraska Corrections notified the media 6 days later. He was eventually captured in Las Vegas. But what if he went on a crime spree and the public was kept in the dark?
But yes, there is a risk. I mean, and you have to be willing to accept that risk in the event that the escapee commits a crime while being on the outside.
Lauren, while Nebraska Corrections continues to decide how to handle low-level escapees and the notification, what I'm holding here is from the Iowa Department of Corrections. This came out about the same time as Elmore escaped, and it is telling us about a guy who escaped 3.5 hours from here from a residential facility in Johnson County, Iowa. Iowa law requires the notification. I asked the press contact with Iowa Corrections, what's the deal? He said the state essentially is trying to be as open and transparent with the public as possible. Reporting live from downtown with photographer MH Danker, Brian Mastery, 6 News.
New tonight, 6 on Your Side getting results. Earlier in the week, our investigation revealed that Nebraska Corrections was still debating whether to notify the public when an inmate walks away from one of the least restrictive facilities. As Brian Mastery reports, that's changing.
John and Lauren, we're here at the headquarters in Lincoln of the Nebraska Department of Corrections. This afternoon, the Department Corrections Director told me that he's changing policy based in part on our reporting earlier in the week. From now on, anytime an inmate walks away from community corrections, the media, the public will know about it.
We made the decision we're going to get notification out.
Until now, it was rare for the state to notify the public when an inmate walked away from community corrections. Just this week, Katara Smith, who was serving a 20-year sentence for armed robbery, never returned to Omaha Community Corrections after leaving for his daily job. He was here because staff felt he was low risk to hurt anyone and wanted to transition him to the real world before his likely release in July.
He was probably going to get parole. So don't know at this point, what his motivation is. He will be caught, and we'll try to see if he's willing to share.
2/3 of Nebraskans' 5,000 inmates have a violent past. For example, Xavion Elmore walked away from Omaha Community Corrections in December, and the public was never told. He was serving a mandatory sentence for felon with a gun and remains on the loose. Research shows that if you want inmates to contribute to society when they get out, they need supervision and support for that transition instead of simply being let out of prison.
If I'm going to use this transitional approach, then it means people that have some violence in their history are going to go out through those beds as well. You want to house people at the least restrictive level that you can reasonably believe is safe for all involved. I am not going to put somebody at minimum custody or medium custody or community custody that we think is going to put others at risk.
Scott Frakes says the risk assessment model gets it right 85% of the time. In Lincoln with producer Roger Hamer, Brian Mastry, 6 News.
When inmates are assigned to Omaha or Lincoln Community Corrections, and there are around 800 beds between the two, Frank says the inmates still have different levels of supervision as they build trust, and that can include ankle bracelets.